Good morning, everyone. I'm trying to be a good teammate today. It is HR encouraged team members to wear ugly Christmas sweaters, so that's why I'm decked out like this today. It is quite uncomfortable. And it's a medium. I shouldn't have bought a medium. Maybe 25 years ago I could have worn a medium. I have my notes out here. I know it's Coffee and Conversation, it's not town hall meeting, but I would like to front load a few items just in case they are top of your mind. And give you a heads up, Steve Lindsay is at a meeting today that he is not able to get out of, so you are stuck with Steve Muller and I, unfortunately. We're going to do our best, though. Couple of things. Plumbing in Oak Tree. So for any Oak Tree residents that are here or anyone that has heard about plumbing in Oak Tree, we have historically had some issues where, in particular, sinks clog. And when I say clog, it's, maybe it's your water, maybe it's from somewhere else, we're not really sure. We have, in the past, jetted the system, flush the system out, and it has worked, but we have received reports that there are issues bubbling up again. What we are doing to resolve that issue, we have our plumber scheduled to come out Monday. He or she, I really don't know, is going to scope the line. They're going to put a camera down the lines there, and they're going to identify what the issues and or blockages are. And then they're going to provide us with options to fix those on what they recommend. So we'll either jet it again, flush it with water. We'll line it, meaning, you keep the pipes in place, but you put a specific liner in there to protect them. Or we'll replace the piping that needs replacing. So those are the steps that we are currently taking. And if there are any questions about that, just let us know. For snow removal. So, does anyone know how much snow we received on Sunday? All right, 7 something. I think that's probably the best. I say 7.5, 7 something. Does anyone know how many folks from Bates Landscaping who were removing snow were here on campus removing snow on Sunday? 12, 20, a lot. The highest count I had was 27 individuals. We had a small army of folks who were helping us remove snow on Sunday. I was driving around 2:45 or so around the bishop's house, let's say, for reference for folks who know where the bishops live. And there was a small army of folks out there with shovels. There was a plow, there was equipment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How we remove snow on campus and how we ask those who help us remove snow on campus is we start in this building, Magnolia House, Aspen, Oak Tree, the parking lots, and then we move our way out to residences from there. It does take some time. It may take more time than you would like, but we have as many people and resources as we possibly can literally thrown at that snow. If there are places that are missed or not done as well as they should be, that's certainly something that we should know about and that we can, as a team, help with as well. I'm looking at Ryan. No offense, Ryan. We can do that, though. But just know that from a resource perspective and from a time perspective, given that there was 7.5 inches of snow, they did, from our vantage point, move at a relatively solid clip through the community. So just wanted to share that portion as well. They moved faster than my son at home. And then lastly, we have a new team member that you all got to meet at least on Tuesday, I would imagine. Her name is Christina. She is our general manager for dining. That does not mean Lou is going away. Lou is still part of the team. But Lou is going to evolve into the role that he came here for, which is to oversee dining operations for both Garden Spot and Frederick Living. But Lou is making sure that Christina gets the full scope of what should be done and how things should be done. And she comes to us with a good bit of knowledge, the right disposition, and good experience here to the community. So we want to welcome her. I offered her the opportunity to say a word or two, wave, or do whatever she would like. So she's coming over. So it looks like she wants to say something.
Public speaking is my favorite. So I'm Christina. Mike just said, but I come from Shenandoah. So I was there for a long time, since 2008, and I've been in food service the whole time. So I'm very, very excited to be here. Please, if I haven't met you, come up, introduce yourself. If you know you've told me your name 2 or 3 times, say it 2 or 3 more times. A lot of faces to learn, a lot of staff members to learn, but I'm so, so excited to be here. So thank you so much. And we have a very, very exciting journey that we're about to go on. So.
And I'll pass the mic to Lou for 1 second to briefly talk about beef.
So Christina learned very well to hold the mic up to her mouth, not like me. So I just want to address what happened last night. There was some miscommunication with the beef. I had gone through the kitchen and I saw some of the beef was, they were preparing it for the healthcare side, and I thought it was a little rare, and I got an opinion from one of the supervisors who works up on the healthcare side, and he said, yeah, let's put it back in the oven. So the cook said, okay, I'll put it back in the oven. I thought he was putting everything back in the oven, including for the beef stroke, but he just took care of the healthcare side. So I'll take the blame for that, for not communicating what had to be done for it, but we already discussed it, me, Christina, and Mark, about what to do the next time, and we're going to cook it. I told him to cook it to about like 1:30, hoping to get a little bit pink but not rare, and it came out a little bit rarer than it should have. So Mark's going to make the adjustment, and we're just going to cook it another 5-10 degrees more, so it comes out a little bit more medium than rare. So again, my apologies for last night. I heard the team. They reacted, and they got some tenderloins cooked to finish out the dinner last night. So good job on their part, reacting to it and getting the situation corrected as fast as they could. So again, accept my apologies. Thank you.
And he talked into the microphone. Great job. Okay, those were the only things that we wanted to share with you, or at least kind of front load the conversation with. So at this point, we're happy to open the floor up to questions, comments, concerns.
The festive flavor and friends was a wonderful evening. Thank you very much. Food was delicious.
It really was. And a vast majority of the work and expertise and assistance came from the dining team. So thank you guys very, very, very much for that.
When's the next one?
It's going to be a weekly thing that we do.
We'll see if we have the budget for Easter, for 4th of July. Mike, I think everybody's just ready for Christmas. It's kind of a quiet group. Well, it's the big 6-day countdown at our house, so we're very excited.
There is one more thing that I forgot to front load. So don't forget about the Oak Tree Rec Room. So it has been loved and spruced up and fixed up, and if anyone wants to use it for themselves or for their families, it is open and ready for use. There is a resident that I had a conversation with us about yesterday, and we both agreed it's a good thing that we promote that and let folks know, hey, don't forget about that space. It has been touched up, loved up, and is in good shape, ready to go.
Two things. Do you need to make a reservation for a day, for instance, when your family's going to be there, and where would we do that? Second thing, can we have a ping pong table back? Maybe?
The ping pong table's down there. You're talking about the pool table?
Oh, I heard the leg was broken and that was
That's the pool table.
the pool table.
Well, let me respond to the first question first. If you do need to reserve for a party, you are going to ask reception. Reception's going to just double check with me that it's open. We do have some family parties, especially with the holiday season coming up, where it is reserved. We will put a sign on that says reserved, just so you're aware. So you're going to call reception, say, hey, I'd like to reserve this at this time. Receptionist.
Oh, the receptionist. Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And then on the pool table, Mike, you want to handle that one?
So the pool table, the ping pong table is there, but the pool table had a leg that was compromised to the point where we were unable to fix it. Now, it depends who you ask, but our read and our review was that we were unable to fix it, so we had to get rid of it. Are we going to replace it? That is something that we can consider. It's possible, yes. Okay, good to know. Good to know. What's broken?
If I sit long enough, I think of something. Yesterday, when we came over for probably lunch, there was a backhoe in front of the triple homes here in Maplewood. Do you know what's going on there?
I got asked that yesterday afternoon, and I didn't know. I didn't have an answer then. Does anyone in the corner have an answer for that one at the moment?
There was a broken pipe they were fixing behind 5,000. For the rain gutters?
Ah, yes. There was a broken pipe for the rain gutters outside of 5008 that they were fixing. Behind 5008 that they were fixing.
That's where, okay, so that's as far as.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Thanks, guys. Don't rely upon Lou Brooks. He's not here.
Are they considering doing anything to trimming the trees any further? Like over here in Maplewood, I know somebody that won't even walk in front of their house because of the berries that are being dropped for the last 2 to 3 months. And there are thousands of berries on the trees yet that I have to sweep off the walk 2 or 3 times a day, or you drag it into your cottage, walk into the garage because you got to take your shoes off because you can't go into the house. You're dragging this crap in with you. So the trees should be trimmed maybe a foot off ground or something so they don't go all over the parking lot, the sidewalks, the roofs of the buildings because they're too high. They're going over everything. And actually, the whole complex has trees that are dropping nuts and stuff that people, if they're old and are walking around on the walks and slip on those nuts and stuff, that's not very good. And like I say, take a walk over to Maplewood and walk through there without going and dragging that crap on your shoes.
I don't know if that's a question or a comment, but I do have a response. So,
I asked 2 years ago about it because it was a problem 2 years ago.
understood. So in terms of tree removal and trimming, We did have significant work done. I don't have an answer at this moment why those particular items were not removed or sheared back during that particular time. But when Al is back on Monday, I'm going to find out from him, from the tree company, where that particular item stands. As you know, we do have a rotation of what gets done and when, and we can certainly ensure that the next time that we are able to get the tree company out to do that work, we will add that high on the list. Understood.
Need a hurry committee.
Actually, I have two questions, none of which pertain to the modular home over there. But when we do snow removal, do we pay each time they do it, or is that a contracted amount that we pay? And the second question is, are we going to keep the coffee machine out front? We never got a decision on that. Thank you.
To your second question, yes, we are going to keep that coffee machine out front. To answer your first question, we have a contract with Bates Landscaping where they are at the ready when we ask them to come out. We make the decision on yay or nay, and we do that before every snowstorm. It is a healthy amount of money when they come out here, as you can imagine. We don't have any sort of standard monthly payment with them for snow removal. We have a fee that is anytime that they come out, like up to an inch, and then it's divvied out by the amount of snow that's removed, and that's what the payment is. Our aim is to utilize them as little as possible, only in situations where we're unable to do it ourselves. Long term, and this is thinking, this isn't any sort of reality that we can present, but you know, there are different ways that we can do snow removal in-house. But right now, from a manpower perspective and from an equipment perspective, we're not at a point where we could make that happen. Looking toward the future, that is perhaps something that we can consider. But there's costs and trade-offs to that too.
Just a comment to support Ken, our neighbor, because we're both fighting the same berry battle. The other thing is they're a slip and fall hazard, because when they fall themselves and you step on them, they're sturdy little soles. It's like stepping on a marble, so you can go sliding along with them. And when they're wet, like now, they're a slipping hazard. So I don't know what they can do, but they are a mess.
It's too early to call it quits.
Going back to the snow removal, I think you need somebody to go around and start checking the spouting. There was quite a bit of water runoff onto where people walk. So there was a lot of ice down. And it's all because of the spouting. It was melting and coming off the roof. So it wasn't that it had not been addressed. It's a continuing icing situation. When I was driving around the other day, I got to one house, I couldn't even deliver a package to them. The sidewalk, the whole walk path going in was solid ice. The door was solid ice. Water was running down on the door. And that's a spouting issue, melting off the roof.
Okay, that is
So
unfortunate.
one of the best things for those kinds of issues is whatever details you can give us, the specific unit, on the west side of the specific unit, and even a date and time. If we're not able to address it in the moment, because if it's iced over and all frozen, the best we might be able to do is put some de-icer around or something like that. But we have a work order system in the background, and I want to answer for Mike or for the guys here from maintenance and grounds and that kind of thing, but the best thing for any of those are those details. So if you have an issue like that or a complaint or even something like the berries on the sidewalk, absolutely get us details. And I empathize with the fact that, you know, you've seen this frustration for a number of years in a row. I don't know what the specific trees are. The Coosa dogwoods often have those berries that show up, I think it's late summer kind of a thing, and they can make a mess. That's good to know, though, in the moment, because then as we see those coming down, or the staff here sees those coming down, then we know what we really need to do is get the arborist out. We're going to trim these trees back so many feet or something. So if they're falling on the grass, it's not a problem. We don't want them falling on the sidewalk. But anyway, with something like that, especially spouting and things, totally understand that. Something might be clogged, might have leaves stuck in the gutter and the downspout. But specific details, we can put that in the work order, then any of our staff knows exactly how to follow up on that.
This is about, I think her name was Bev Cap. It was so convenient for us that live in the Oak Tree area to just go in and tell her what we needed. Is she gone?
No. Bev is on FMLA. She's got a sick family member that she's caring for at the moment. But she's doing okay. She's been with us for 20 years, maybe 20 plus years, in different capacities. So she's caring for a loved one at the moment, but she will be back. She's great. Beverly Cap. She works. She used to work for skilled nursing in terms of scheduling staff, but she transitioned into a role where she is doing administrative functions for maintenance, housekeeping, etc. So she works out of Oak Tree, kind of the office where Emily Messner used to work out of. But she's been out for a couple of weeks. Yes.
Any updates on groundbreaking?
Not particularly. We, looking at, so when you ask that question, I'm looking at it in two different parts. The space over here, the PTOT new body shop space, and potential new apartment building. The potential new apartment building is certainly further away and is more complex, more expensive, more everything. So that one is definitely slower to cut up and running. We don't have anything particular to share with the township at this point in time in terms of official application or anything of the sort. When we do, then we will certainly share that information with you all. In terms of the space over here, that is something that can move much quicker. One of the items that we're looking to tackle and figure out is how do we heat and cool the space. We know how to do it, but we're just trying to figure out which is the best way to approach it. And it is related to a tie-in to the brand new loop system that we installed in Oak Tree, which is kind of right next to it. So we're trying to figure out, do we tie into that system or do we develop a new system there? So those are the last kind of pieces that are coming together. But once we figure that out, we're pretty set to move forward and go. And it is not a significantly long project, as I have been stating. This isn't something that takes 2 years to get up and running. It's something that once we get that okay, we'll be ready to move. What we're doing, though, with the body shop space when the body shop moves, we're working on that one. I am certain that there are a multitude of people who have ideas and pet projects of what can go in that space. We cannot accommodate everyone. Something will win out, I promise you. But at this point, we don't know what's going to go into that space.
Since we have time. We switched over to a new person and a new group getting blood tests. And it was really a rough start. And I just came across it the other day because I needed blood drawn. Didn't show up. So I sat there starving from 5 o'clock till 8:20. So, but I want to say that the lady that came the next day was fantastic. Okay, she had a European accent, long blonde hair, but I don't know her name. Very efficient, very pleasant, and she was there at 5:30.
We appreciate that. So we did change lab companies. We changed lab companies for a variety of reasons. Most specifically, it was the old lab company that we used didn't integrate with our electronic health record. And their inability to do that had a lot of downstream consequences that were negative. And not only they weren't able to do that, they weren't going to do that for any time in the near future. So anytime you make a decision like that, there are trade-offs, right? You know, the positives that we see on the back end for care in general, for everyone that gets their blood drawn or whatever lab goes through, those outweigh the negatives, and we are working on the negatives. And the negatives are the other phlebotomists seem to be a little bit better and more reliable. So we're working with the company to make sure that they're aware of our concerns and our frustrations. There has been some slight improvement noted and reported, but there are those issues that still arise. But anytime you have that, let us know so that we can go to our rep and let them know immediately.
Is there a date for the renovation of the 3rd floor in Oak Tree?
In short, no, there is not a specific date. So recall when we worked on the 1st and the 2nd floors, it was a project that was kind of all in one fell swoop. We kind of did everything all at once. Our aim was to do that with the 3rd floor as well. Again, we are going to make those improvements, but they're going to be done in a lot smaller of a fashion, or not smaller of a fashion, in a bit more spread out of a fashion. And the rationale, again, we had on the books from a capital budget perspective, the oak tree loop replacement. Initially, we had a phased approach where we do a little bit this year, a little bit next year, a little bit the year after. And that $900,000 project was going to be spread out over several years. When push came to shove, we recognized both from a cost perspective, but really from a safety and a good stewardship perspective, we needed to take care of that now. So we took dollars that we were going to spend on that large-scale 3rd floor renovation this year and put them into that project. That was the decision that we made. So we are going to make those changes. It's just going to be still a little bit longer because we decided to spend dollars on the one project versus the other. It's not fun. I get that. I understand completely, and it's very important. And you guys have waited while everyone else got that completed. But if we didn't do that loop project, that could mean, you know, you could have water spilling on your brand new redone 3rd floor from the pipes, and that wasn't a good step to take.
They originally said they had to spend the money on improving or for upgrading for the whole, they had it in the budget, and the budget was supposed to cover all 3 floors. So that's why they started. But you ran out of money, obviously.
I would word it differently than ran out of money. I would say we reallocated dollars based on the scenario that was in front of us. Fair?
Is there an amount going to be set aside for it this
When we work through capital budgeting next year, we will take a look at what has been able to be completed this year and what still needs to be done. And that's how we will address it. So from a capital budgeting perspective, remember how it works. How we spend money here on campus comes in two different ways. We have our operational budget and we have our capital budget. Our capital budget is set aside each year for projects or improvements that last 3 or more years and cost $1,500 or more dollars. And how we fund those projects are through portions of entrance fees from new residents. So we set a number each year with our finance team and approved by our board of directors. And we say, we're going to set aside X amount of dollars this year for capital budget. And here are the projects that are going to be done during that period of time. Unfortunately, as life goes and as things happen that aren't predicted, we sometimes have to move money around to projects that need attention now, and we have to push off other things. And that's what has happened so far with the third floor renovations. So whatever we can do this fiscal year, we will. And whatever we can't get done, we will aim to put in next year's capital budget. It's an answer. It's not a fun answer, but that is the calculation.
I think all of us on the third floor that have been here a while, we have gone through a lot of leaks in the hallways or in the apartments. I personally am glad that they decided to do, instead of over 5 years, trying to put the piping in, to do it in one. It is a very positive thing. If you had your house, you would do the same thing. The decorations and redoing of the whole third floor is not as important as the leaks to stop. So I thank you.
I agree.
The third floor was actually one of the most beautiful floors when I first moved here. Since we've had the renovations, or since we've done the first floor and the second floor, bright lights. One of the setbacks on the third floor is that the lights aren't as bright. Don't show the beautiful colors that are up there. And again, that's another situation. I don't know what the electric is like for the lights up there, but that would be an improvement which might cost less.
I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. I think I know what I'm talking about. It's the lighting changes on the first and the second floor are related to LED lights, which are brighter and do have that better complexion. I told you it was a medium. Full disclosure. No, but my middle daughter had a basketball practice from 8 to 9 p.m. last night. Short window of time, and it was 15 minutes away from our house. So I figured, all right, drop her off. I'm not going to go home. I was kind of driving around aimlessly, and Kohl's popped up, and I said, all right, I'll get one. So I bought this around 9 o'clock last night. And I will throw it out around 4 o'clock today. I'm sorry, Arlene. What was the question? The lights, yes. I believe. I'm fairly certain that there are LED lights on the first and the second floor and not on the third floor. And from what I also understand, it is not as easy as just unscrewing a light bulb and putting an LED in. There is different electrical work that needs to occur, but that's good feedback. Medium.
So you're saying we're updated as far as the new system, and that includes the air conditioning and heating?
Yes.
And what about our water system, our heaters downstairs? You know, where the boiler.
So there is, I'm going to do my best on this one. So there is a control panel that is being updated as part of this project. So every inch of the loop is done and created and works properly, and the water's running through there. There is a control panel that is being updated, and that work is occurring in December and should end. If not the last piece of this project, is the next step with the boilers that heat the water. They work, and they work properly, especially with these new upgrades. But sooner or later, we're going to have to replace them. So that is something that we are investigating from a capital budget perspective. We don't have natural gas on the campus, but we could and are looking at and are considering some, is it hybrids, Steve? Are they hybrid boilers? That can utilize oil, what we're using now, but also if we get something like natural gas in the future, they would be built for that. Those also are an expensive replacement, and we'll have to consider those. I heard somewhere in the range of $250,000, $300,000 for those boilers, but you never know.
When you started to talk this morning, you said about people are having the bubbles. Well, I live at the patio, and I'm about ready to call, you know, the maintenance, because it's not. It could be your pipe in the loop, because when I'm cleaning it, I get a lot of stuff out of it. So, and one time before they came down, they had to replace that whole section. So you know, we all, especially the women, you know, some people wash their hair in the sink. I do mine in the shower, but you still have a lot of stuff when you comb or something that goes in that sink. And I think mine is getting clogged in that part of the sink, which the only way you can do that is go in there and open it and clean it out. So that might be, in some cases, some of the problem.
So certainly call maintenance. If you got an issue and you want it handled, handle that one. The nature of some of the issues that we have seen in Oak Tree, they are consistent enough and over a long enough length of time where we believe that it is not simple human behavior that is causing these backups, that there's more of a systemic issue that needs addressing. I appreciate that, though. Our hope is that it would be, something went down there and I clogged it, but they're more systemic than that.
Isn't Oak Tree more of a newer, Aspen, because we're underneath Aspen.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Is Aspen newer than Oak Tree? I always get this wrong. I think they're kind of the same time. Oak Tree's a little older, but not that much older.
Oak Tree's like 1993, and Aspen's like 2000.
This is for you or dining committee maybe, but maybe you can answer it. I know Christmas Day, we have the reserved dinner at lunchtime. In the evening, is there a meal then too, or is the deli and the grill closed?
Up to your mouth, though.
No, we were going to, it would be closed. We're working on some verbiage that we're going to get out to everybody. So once this meeting's over, we were going to get with Mike and just go over that verbiage on what we can offer after the dinner meal, lunch meal or holiday meal afterwards.
Just wondering if there's any progress on getting grab bars for the bathtubs in the meadows?
I don't have that update from Al, and he's not here today, but when he's back on Monday, I will check in with him about that, where that stands.
It appears, I may be wrong, but when you're saying you'll be there at a certain time at Christmas, there's a half hour opening? Did you?
Are you talking for?
For Christmas dinner, for the Christmas meal? They were, reservations are in half hours?
So it'd be like a hour to eat is what she's.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, we'll huddle after this and then communicate it out properly and clearly so that everyone has the heads up on what to do, okay? Okay.
It seems like a half an hour.
Understood. We'll figure that one out and communicate it out, okay?
Any update on the fire alarms the other night? You can hear me, can't you?
Any update with the fire alarms last night? Okay. So, when you say last night, or 2 nights ago? 2 nights ago. You're saying around dinner time, correct? Okay. Yes, I do. So, when we conduct any sort of work that's going to cause a scene, we call off the county fire alarm for a period of time. We don't want it to go out. We don't want it to, fire trucks here for doing work on something. So the panel goes off. Work was being conducted in the elevator room near a fire alarm, and it was drywall. The little specks of drywall got into, after 4 o'clock, got into the system and set off the alarm. Those things are so sensitive that a spider can crawl in there and set off a fire alarm. So that's how it went off. Because of the nature of the space, that caused a little bit of an issue in terms of timing, in terms of getting it shut off, etc. But the source of the issue was the work done in the elevator room.
What about the one at 5:45 of the morning?
5:45 the other morning, Jeanette, if I'm not mistaken, you're in Magnolia House at the moment, is that correct?
Right.
That is the unfortunate byproduct of living in a regulated space. We are required by the Department of Health and the Department of Human Services to conduct monthly fire drills in Aspen, Magnolia, and Cedarwood, and we have to do them at varying times throughout the day. So that's just an unfortunate thing for anyone who lives in one of our care areas.
Has there ever been an actual fire drill here? I mean, they go, I've lived here for, what, 2 years now, and, I mean, the alarms go off, but basically we ignore them or complain about it. But we've never actually, I mean, do people know where to go? You know, like when I taught school, it was a law. You had to have a fire drill and they had to leave the building. I've never, ever seen that here.
Well, again, in our care areas, there are regulations that require how often we do them and what we do in terms of drills. In terms of drills in cottages, it's not necessarily something that we conduct, but we do have smoke detectors, and they notify the maintenance team, and they go to the fire panel immediately, and they go out to the county and bring the fire department in. In terms of Oak Tree specifically, we don't have any regulation saying you have to have X amount of drills or anything of the sort. But we do have strategies. We do have training for residents as they move into Oak Tree for what to do and where to go. And we communicate very closely with our fire marshal and our fire departments on what to do in certain scenarios. So Yes, a lot of alarms go off. A lot of alarms have to go off. And have we had actual incidents? Yes, we have. But do we want to treat every single one like it's real? In our world, we have to. Because the one time it is real, you're going to pray that you know what to do and do it quickly.
I was already to one of the training programs, so I know what I need to do. But there are a lot of new residents. I don't know how often you have that program, but it should be more often because there's new residents moving in here who do not know what to do. I had someone come to me the other day and the alarm went off. I didn't know what to do.
We can certainly have additional trainings. I'll share that although someone may not know what to do in that immediate circumstance, that doesn't always mean that training didn't occur. It might mean that it didn't sink in, or that the alarm's going off and you're a little bit panicky and you kind of forget what happened. All that being said, having additional training is never a bad idea.
I just wanted to address that slightly. As the newcomer committee, and I see several of my mentors sitting around here, one of the things we do, especially in the apartments, when new people come in, their mentors give them a piece of paper, and Emily, you will remember when I got that from you, that tells them exactly what to do during a fire drill. And we encourage the mentors to share that, but there's a lot of other important stuff too. So it may be that, how you learn anything new, you kind of get it for a little bit, it goes away, and then when you really have to use it, you don't always recall it. But we are trying to address that on the newcomers committee, and I will make note of that again. We'll talk about it again and see if we can do something else. And that's all.
Thank you. All right, we did pretty good. I didn't think we were going to make 10 minutes. We got 50 in. Any other questions or thoughts or comments or anything of the sort? Well, if I don't see any of you, I'm sure I'll see you, but in case, we're only a week out. Bruce, I was going to say Merry Christmas.
No, I think you should ask if Steve has anything to say, because he's been up there and
I've been hogging the mic. I've been hogging the microphone.
I was so glad to be here. But I knew as I walked into Mike's office this morning, he had me beat in the sweater category. So I had no problem just warming the chair, but Mike did a great job. You have a good leader here with Mike and with the team. Dining team, so thankful for how that's now rounded out. Yeah, round of applause for Mike. It's interesting as he's answering questions, I have two or three things going through my mind, and I'm here definitely for moral support, but you did a fine job this morning answering all of those. I appreciate Emily, I appreciate the operations staff, the environmental services staff that keeps this place looking so good and clean. Yeah, so I'll gladly come once a month and warm the chair, twice a month, warm the chair. So, yeah, so a Merry Christmas to everybody. And if Mike needs moral support on the sweater category, you can figure that out after the meeting.
It would be nice to have a crazy sweater day.
We can organize that.
I wore mine the other night. I go to the senior center we have once a year. We have a crazy sweater.
I like Crazy Sweater Day, obviously. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking time out of your day. We appreciate it.